Hello everyone, it's Brian, and welcome back to Twilight Struggle, Play the Experts, the game where I play the experts, and you wonder just how badly and how immediately I will be punished for my mistakes. And the answer, of course, is pretty badly and pretty immediately. So we are here playing theory. We are playing the author of the TwilightStrategy.com website and the awesome ebook. And we are here at the beginning of turn 5. How did your homework go? Did you find some good plans, or did you find some serious problems? So we have this super hinky hand here. It is full of little U.S. event bombs, and obviously, once you get up in the 3 and 4 U.S. event bomb range, it means we're going to be enduring some things, that some bad things are going to happen, and we're going to have to try to slide on by them. So, one good piece of news is we got purged last turn, so we won't get purged again. We only get one space shot, and we can expect to probably get one hold card. So I'm pretty sure I want grain sales to be the space shot, because that really needs to go extra far away, extra soon. And it's really dangerous to hold that on to next turn, because that's a card that just isn't playable. Just is not play. And pretty soon he's going to start, as we move toward turn 7, he'll start suspecting we have it, and that could bring on all sorts of disasters. I guess we've shuffled 5-year plan in, so there's no that. But anyway, it's not a card I like to carry around with me in my pocket list when I'm playing the Soviets. So that one, probably space. Now, then we get to stack rank the rest of the cards in order of horribleness. Now, special relationship would normally be the most horrible result in terms of it giving him 2 victory points, but it is easy to mitigate because we're adjacent to the UK and we'll be able to break as long as he doesn't, over control it or whatever, which I don't really expect, because he's got even if he decides he's going to play into Europe this turn, he's got enough problems in Europe. He doesn't have time to overprotect things because he's on the verge of getting dominated if we start to expand there. So I feel like that moves to the bottom of the stack rank and leaves Voice of America and Colonial Rearguards. So Colonial Rearguards gives him 4 guys, but in Africa or Southeast Asia. That's bad. Voice of America lets him take off 4 of our guys from almost anywhere except for Europe. That's even more bad. So Voice of America is probably going to be the thing we try to hold. That means we have to plan to mitigate special relationship by cramming it into the UK before the event resolves and doing something about Colonial Rearguard. So he's going to get 4 guys. We're going to get merely 2. And we're going to try to somehow hang on in Africa. It is good, at least, our point, our extra point in Thailand, which, as some of us were discussing online, was admittedly probably a little bit premature and superstitious on my part to go to double over control so soon, especially with Asia not scoring again for a long time. At least we do have the comfort of knowing that it will help us for the Colonial Rearguards. He won't be tempted to put a point into Thailand and then cram the entire China card into Thailand, which would, it would certainly flop Southeast Asia scoring, which is coming up soon. That's a 4-point swing. Anyway, I probably shouldn't have played that point so early. I should be playing it this turn now that I know I have this problem. But at any rate, at least it will come in handy. So those are those cards. And then we've got a lot of other semi-garbagely low cards, and we don't need Nasser. Willy Brandt, I like to event and get that point. but I may or may not have time for it this turn. And so that brings us to the headline in question, because there are three, count them, three decent headlines this turn. So let's just go through them in order. Brezhnev Doctrine. It's big, and as someone said, it's meaty. If we headline that, it's basically going to help us in almost every round of this turn. You're not counting whatever card we are going to send to space. So yeah, big fat, probably 6-op festival if we headline Brezhnev. So that's a pretty strong headline. Portuguese Empire Crumbles is good in that it gives us Angola, but we can play that part. That aspect of the card is is playable later in the turn. I maybe he would over-control Angola, but I suspect he's going to have other priorities early in the turn. So we could probably get away with playing that aspect of the card later if that was the reason we were playing it. But there is a thing about it, which is that it also prevents a headline of the African scoring card being a total disaster for me, which otherwise it would be. And I feel like if I was him and I was holding Africa and I didn't have any other stuff, wouldn't that be a pretty strong try? I mean, obviously there are Portuguese Empire and there's the other thing, South African and rest I could have, but he's currently on track to get fairly seriously dominated here because he's probably expecting I'd probably coup Angola, or might well coup Angola. And, he's looking down the barrel of a big domination, but if he's sitting there holding it, that kind of makes that a pretty good stab at getting away with some murder. I mean, it obviously has risks for him. But anyway, I'm a little bit worried with that because I really need that African domination. So there's that. And then there's socialist governments, which would let me, rip the scab off of France again and clean a guy out of the UK and maybe a guy out of Spain or something just to build, or two guys out of France, whatever, which would, put him back in the European domination threat, which certainly, if we had the European scoring card we'd want to do, so that might make him think we have it, and he might go all flapping around in Europe and stuff. And meanwhile, it would let us take our action round 1 as a coup with the special relationship card without having to over-control the UK, so that would be good also. So those are all pretty viable headlines, pretty reasonable headlines. And I can't really criticize anyone that wants to make any of those headlines because they all have their upsides and they all have their downsides. So yeah, and each of those had proponents in the homework. So I like that when there's proponents in the homework. So what I have decided to do, however, is I am afraid of African disaster. And so I'm going to go with Portuguese Empire Crumbles. And my plan for the turn is, because I did that, I'm going to have to coup, and I'm going to have to, I get to coup. But I'm not going to be able to coup with the special relationship card. And I think what I want to do is, if I headline Portuguese Empire Crumbles, I should end up with Angola and a pretty strong domination in Africa. And so I want a coup to protect Brazil, not Angola. Coup Brazil because I'm a little bit more worried about South America. He could have the scoring already. He's already very strongly down in Argentina. And it's a lot harder for me to, comparing that to, say, going aggressively into Panama. First of all, I don't have a big card to coup Panama with. So the chances I actually get in and get control of Panama, if I'm cooing, I've kind of selected Willy Brandt as my coup card because I might need, I'd rather save a bigger socialist government card for later. So my chances of getting all the way in and controlling Panama. I'd have to roll a 6 on that. So even if I use socialist governments, I'd have to roll a 5 or a 6 to get Panama, because he does have a guy in Costa Rica now. So that, and given that there's other cards I can get in with, maybe I'll get the Junta, maybe I'll get Liberation Theology. Eventually Fidel will come back. There's ways, there's things that I could get in there with. And whereas I feel I'm a little harder pressed to resist his domination if he gets control of Brazil and Allende doesn't come up, in time for it, because he's going to be able to fill that up, assuming he has any extra ops at all. So that's going to be the first thing, is coup Brazil. And then I'm actually thinking, to see how things go and how urgent the destruction is. Because what I'd like to do is actually at that point play Brezhnev Doctrine, so in action round 2 for the event, so that then I get the benefit of it for the rest of the round. So it's not quite as many ops as I could have gotten from it, but if I get the time to do it, it's actually more, it's still more ops than Brezhnev itself gives me, and it'll make at the end of the turn or towards the end of the turn, depending on how things go, playing colonial rearguards a little bit less god-awful, because then I'll get 3 things to his 4. Meanwhile, I need to be preparing for the eventual play of colonial rearguards by trying to, overprotect things or grab non-battlegrounds as appropriate, and of course spacing grain sales. And once Brezhnev is powered up, I will probably try to dispose of special relationship as quickly as possible. But notice now it's it'd be a 3 card with if I get Brezhnev out, and so there's that. I don't feel like space is a huge hurry this round, because we're both plopping into the zone that gives you an effect. Nobody has 2 ops already, and if I go too soon, he might have the one small step for bad people card, and that would let him hop over to me and steal the 3 points. So I want to go late in the turn to space. I'm okay if he goes to space first. So that is the plan. Let us do it. Let us headline. Portuguese empire crumbles, and he is going to ask not what his country can do for him, but what he can do for his country. And apparently, what he can do for his country is a lone gunman, a summit, a Korean War, and a Wheelberry, and how I learned to stop worrying. So he has had a full hand cleaning. So it's like, yeah, man, JFKing off the lone gunman is kind of like, he just like, the lone gunman missed, but he might come back. From the grassy knoll or some other place. There could be a conspiracy. We don't know. But most of those cards look like perfectly awesome discards. I was a little surprised to see How I Learned to Stop Worrying, because I think of that as kind of a good card, especially as the U.S. You can do some stuff. Sometimes you could even play it at the very end of the turn for 5 victory points. But, it is a low op, so he might have been hungry for ops. Now, mind you, if he has no idea what his hand's going to look like at the time he discards, because he's discarding 5 cards. So maybe he needs that, maybe it's not. Everything else was certainly not greatly surprising. And fortunately, none of those things were the Africa scoring card, because clearly if he'd had the Africa scoring card, it would have gone out with the trash, not to mention the European scoring card or the Southeast Asia scoring card. Straight out with the trash, maybe even the South America scoring card for all I know. I don't know. He would probably want to keep that little thread open on me. But there you go. That was some excitement. So I'm going to proceed with my plan. As I said, I would have loved to event this for the victory point, but I want to save my big guns for other things. Then this coup. Now I rolled a 5, so if I had used a 3 card and gone to Panama, I'd own Panama now. But I'm at least happy to live another day in South America safely. Okay, so Che, he gets essentially a free play for that. I get to take a swing at Costa Rica. So he's taking the treasure I did leave him, which is Algeria. And so we get Costa Rica a little swing at it, and we roll a 1. That's actually a good... If we have to roll a 1, that's a good coup to roll a 1 on, because it's not all that important, even though I would have liked to actually have a little boots on the ground. All right, I am going to get Brezhnev Doctrine operational here, so that the next 5 cards will get a thing, although one will be a space shot, so it won't matter. So let's see what he's got. He has got a nice, perfectly nice Cuban Missile Crisis up. All right, he is going to close up his little African thing and even overprotect it, which is okay. I'm okay with that. So, special relationship. We have duties to conduct. So, Wump there broke his control and, restore the domination threat. And so the places I could put the other point... I could grab another battleground in Africa, or I could grab one. I like South America because it makes another domination threat, and it kind of keeps them wondering which... Because I've now made 3 domination threats in one turn, and so it keeps them wondering which scoring card does he have? Oh no! He actually has no scoring cards at all. But we're keeping them all in play, and he's gonna, maybe he'll go there, and I don't think I'm gonna get to dominate South America, but this makes it look like maybe he needs to go spend some ops there immediately, or have, egg on his face, and that might keep him out of Africa longer, which I feel like I have a more reasonable chance to dominate. So, Colombia it is, and let's see what he does. Oh, the China card. Oh, my pal, the China card. All right, so yes, he is, as we thought might happen, definitely took the South American threat seriously, and he's poked a point in Greece. So, yeah, I wonder if I ought to play for a little bit of domination-y threat stuff here. Obviously, socialist government is better as a 4-op than as a 3-off. A 4-on rather than a 3-off. So I'm going to do that. And okay, so right after I clicked commit, I realized what a total utter idiot I was. I totally should have gone to Spain in preference to Turkey. I mean, if I had any brains at all, I would have 3 in Spain now, and the other could be Turkey or wherever, because I just took my eye off the ball and forgot momentarily about Brush War. So if he rolls a 3 on his Italian Brush War, then I'm gonna be sad, because I really should have finished that immediately. It was more important than Turkey. Turkey is less important than Spain. So anyway, I guess that's what I did. Oh, and punishment comes swiftly. It's a Brush War. Wah, wah, wah. Okay, this would really stomp my turn in half. If it goes, what is going to happen in Brush War? It is, it's a 2. Oh, it's a 2. Did I mention my motto is I'd rather be lucky than good? So we got away with that one by 1 pip on the die. Man, that would have smashed my turn into dust. All right, so, well, that was exciting. So let's close the barn door after the cow's already out of the stable or whatever. There, the horse is already left the stable. Whatever animal it is that leaves the stable. Boy, did that one leave the stable. So we'll take a point in Spain, Portugal now, sir. Yes, we will. We'll take a point in Spain, Portugal. So sometimes punishment comes immediately, but it's not as massive as it could have been. But anyway, so just to be clear, totally should have gone to Spain a minute ago. Totally an idiot. Meanwhile, though, we have an extra point of nasserage to inflict somewhere. And possibilities, I kind of want... Okay, so I could either stick it next to Nigeria just to protect it a little bit from realignment. So, if he realigns it out, then I can play back in. That's one idea. I could play into either Sudan or Zimbabwe. I like Zimbabwe better in this case because not only is Zaire overprotected, but I've also got 2 realignment prods on Zimbabwe. So if he coups in there, then he would think I could realign him out. Not that I don't have a seriously large amount of obligations to do later in this turn. So if he coups into Sudan, then he gets next to Ethiopia. I'd rather him go there with his colonial rearguard points or something, is my theory. And I need countries because of colonial rearguards, and Ivory Coast doesn't give me a country because it just kind of sits there. So yeah, that's what it's going to be. Going to Zimbabwe. Gonna stick it in Zimbabwe. Okay, well, he has a little awkward thing. Okay, South African unrest going to space, right? He doesn't want to play that. Off it goes to space successfully, but again, that's okay because our space shot is coming here, and there's no hurry. We're going to take it one way or the other. We hope it succeeds. Screen sails in space! Yes, it goes, and we are even, so we will not be showing him our headline card awkwardly for any time at all. And okay, he's playing Nixon for the event. He's taken the China card back. It does mean he gets an extra China. It'll flip right back up in a minute here, so that is good for him in that way. It's interesting, though, because it highlights a difference in play style. Because remember, he had the China card this turn, and he played it, and now he's taking it back. He's a Nixon. Now, I think you know what I would have done 99.5% of the time, which is I would have played Nixon for the event first, gotten the two victory points, and then I'd have, if I needed to, play the China card, and I would just live without the China card. So he has chosen the opposite. He has turned away the two victory points so that he can play the China card and then get it back. So it's kind of like he played 6 ops worth of cards to get 4 ops and still have the China card. I mean, each of those things is a separate little sub-advantage. But, he paid a lot of, he paid a whole phase of his turn for that, to get it back and to do the event. And he didn't. And that's all fine and whatever. If there weren't any points on the card, I would have no argument. But oh man, the victory points! I kind of breathed a sigh of relief when I saw Nixon going for that version of the event because that's just that many ways fewer that he's going to be scoring victory points. Because we're at 0 on the victory point scale, which is not a great place for the Soviets to be mid-war. No, it's not great. So yeah. So that is what it is. And it certainly makes me perfectly happy to to go ahead and endure colonial rearguards, resolve event first. Let's see what he does. Okay, that much stuff was fairly predictable. I probably would have put the third point into Saharan states instead of Zaire, create a realignment threat there instead of just kind of creating a pay the iron price threat, especially with me having 3 points, so I can put the over control back. But I'm not sure what his plan is. But honestly, this feels better than it could be because we can basically undo almost all the damage, and I'm going to fix the pay the arm price threat in Nigeria. So he guaranteed himself the right to pay the iron price. And so if he's sitting there with a bunch of ops and he wants to go about it that way, then that's fair. If he doesn't have ops, if he has a small op card, then I would have probably played it in Saharan states and realign, take a swing at Nigeria realignment in the next turn. If he'd done that, I might have put the extra point into Ivory Coast, but, blah, blah, blah. Things happen. So what has he got? He's got a Pope. Oh, and it's an eventy Pope. He is poping it in. Man, okay. The European hijinks just continue. And that is a fine event play for him. Yeah, that's a good play. And maybe that explains a little bit of it. He didn't want to do a realignment at the end. He wanted to event that. So maybe that explains what's going on in Africa there. So, yeah, so we're going to have some obligations. And if we coup, he could go in Poland. And yeah, he has scrunched our domination. So we go to turn 6, bye-bye Brezhnev, and We have drawn some scoring cards. Yes, we have. All right, here is our hand. Oh boy, and we got some more doozies because we got 3 bad boys here. We got the Voice of America, which we already know how bad that is. We got the Alliance for Progress, which is currently worth 3 points for him and may soon be worth more points for him. So that's actually the card I almost hate even more than Voice of America. And then there's the Bear Trap, the mixed bag of the Bear Trap, because we could use it for ops, and then we could, use it as a little extra space shot or 2 on Voice of America and Alliance for Progress, because we've got some really bad cards, and or we could just get trapped in it for a long time. Or, more likely, he can use the fact that he effectively gets, 2 turns in a row. As soon as we play it, he's like, oh, I get 2 turns in a row that, at least, that you can't respond to. So then he gets to do his horrible bidding somewhere bad. So those are the bad cards. Europe is a kind of mixed something. I would like to dominate it, and we'll have to kind of see how the opening phase goes here. Southeast Asia scoring. So let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I had 4 points. That's not bad. So that's a welcome card for sure. Cultural Rev. We could take the China card, but we could also probably use 3 ops immediately, unless it's our headline. But I think we have other headlines. So Defectors is out. We've already had a Defectors. So OPEC is definitely got to be played for the event. It's currently worth 4 points. I don't see any prospect of it becoming a higher number of points. If he headlines Junta or something, then it will become probably 3 points and still wouldn't have much. I don't know if I have time to worry about that. So I feel like maybe I want to get that event out. I guess maybe I should do Southeast Asia first, but I don't know. Something about scoring cards kind of pushes me away from them. Headline as the Soviets. Now, Muslim Revolution, we will have to see. It currently doesn't look like an important play, but if he gets all snotty in the Middle East for some reason, we could play it. So that's probably ops. We'll probably need the ops. And then we have to decide our disposition on the coup thing. The coup versus, say, Poland. So assuming nothing horrible and junta-like happens during, because Grainsville's already gone. I'm trying to think of what else could, or there could be a duck and cover or something. Assuming that we get a coup, then a battleground coup, and Action R1, then we have to decide whether we want that or do we want to protect Poland for the domination. The domination is in reach because we would go to 6 countries. And he only goes out 4, and he could go to 6 with a 4 card with UK and Benelux or something like that. But it would be we could have a fun romp in Europe if we can keep him out of Poland. I wonder if the fact that he's in Poland, I wonder if that means he's got Warsaw Pact and he's planning to space it or hold it till turn 7 and space it. It's possible. He certainly, he played the China card last time, so, he had plenty of hold space to hold whatever he wants. So that may be where Warsaw Pact is. Yeah, the problem is, though, a coup for him, if we let him have the coup, then, oh boy, there goes our African domination, right? So, that's a crunter. All right, well, I'm going to hold that in abeyance and see how things go here. I'm going to go ahead and headline OPEC, get some points. All right, so OAS founded. All right, well, that's not as bad as a junta, but we can certainly expect he's going to screw up our Venezuela, okay, which he does. And so now it's an even more grunty bag because he could, if we fill Poland, then he could dominate South America. Or coup, his choice of whichever scorecard he's got, or both. He could really rip things open in. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. And he doesn't know we've got Europe. and it's turn 6, so I guess he has to think of it as somewhere around 40% probably to him, where there are like 10 cards in the discard pile. Then so there's more cards in the discard pile than are in my hand, and I held 1 card, so it's like 7 into 17 is our chance of holding it. So it's a good chance, but maybe he's a little more likely to play for a card he's got in his hand than Europe. So I think I'm going to try to use my coup to protect, not only get ops, but protect Venezuela and Africa at the same time. So we'll do this coup in our own place again. All right, we didn't quite do it. We got 1 point of him out. So we're at his mercy, and let's see what he does. Except in Africa. We're not quite at his mercy in Africa. Oh, it's a China card. He likes to play that baby, and here it comes again. Oh, and it's Poland. Okay, so he has nubbed us. He doesn't know it yet. We sort of know, but he knows it's coming. But yeah, he caught us with our European pants down there. The only good news is all the other places we are safe in. So let us be safe in all the other places. No more paying the iron price for you in Africa, and no more Venezuela. Okay. So that is just how it's going to have to be. Okay. There was legitimacy to this. That would have been a total disaster if he had gotten hold of it. So I feel kind of okay with, all right. Ironically, I never really had much hope of, I never felt like I had much hope of dominating Europe. I was sort of actually surprised to see myself creeping toward it there, but unfortunately, we're going to have to give him, the points. And he's touching my superpower. Mom, he's touching my superpower. I don't like it. He gets 2 points. So I hate that. Hate it. All right, he's going to get another point because he's going to play Camp David Accords for the event. And that makes me think he's setting up for some Sadatting action. And obviously, if he does Sadat, he goes to control now, and he's in a good shape in Israel now, and he's got that. So he's looking at an in-game pretty good Middle East domination. And so I'm going to make it a little sloppier for him. I'm going to go ahead and play Muslim Revolution. I was thinking of this for ops, but in this case, I can not only nub 4 of his guys off, instead of putting 4 on myself, but it also means if he does play Sadat, then he only goes to 1. He doesn't immediately get control, so that it puts the Middle East a bit further out of his reach, so he'll have to work on it. So rather than kind of handing him, I feel like I'd be handing him in-game Middle East domination on a silver platter, that this configuration means he'll have to work on it, and he might not get it. So that is my thinking there. I think this is one where 4 off is better than, 4 off for him is better for us than 4 on for us. So that is Muslim Revolution. Okay, he's puppet governments for the event, so he's back into Saudi. Okay, yeah, and he's starting to think, and maybe he's actually holding liberation theology about a space, and he's starting to think he can go to control over there, so we're going to have to start taking that extra seriously if it's not too late, but it is what it is. So let's get another absolute must-do thing done. There goes 4 points. That's good. Okay, yeah, there was the reason we didn't want to get too far ahead in the space race, which, by the way, we do want to get our space race done this turn. He is doing a coup and working on my African domination, and he has certainly gotten it, but I have to choose now between several things. One is I could plan to endure the voice of America, because I can't space that anymore. And then, hold Alliance of Progress of Space next turn, or endure both. So I'm starting to think about eating a bear trap, But before I eat a bear trap, I want to actually be even more greedy and also take a space shot, because that's a 3-point space shot right there. So I'm going to space this and failure. Okay, well, it was a failure. So what is he going to do? He is going to UN intervene. He is going to take a coup, an unsuccessful coup in there. All right, and it comes to it. This is my last chance. I can either endure Voice of America or I can endure a bear trap. But the nice thing about the bear trap, if I do a bear trap, is it means I will get to get rid of Voice of America next time. On the other hand, it means that he will get kind of a 2 in a row. Now, it'll be a 2 in a row that he has to, one of which he has to do this turn before seeing it. He has the least preparation for it, but it means he would probably end up getting the coup thing. However, there is a reasonable chance, when we haven't seen Quagmire, there's a reasonable chance I'm actually going to draw Quagmire, in which case it becomes a good headline next turn, kind of de-trapping, putting him also into the Quagmire with me. And so that takes a little bit of the sting out. Using Bear Trap also lets me pretty much maintain the Africa domination threat. I can coup Cameroon. So, this will be an interesting one in comments. How would you guys have preferred to handle my bad cards this turn, the space shot and the bear trap and all that? Because I will admit this is a somewhat risky maneuver, but it's a maneuver that could lead to, in some ways, if the risk hits the worst possible case, which is like a 3 or 4 turn bear trap, well, then that probably is dead. But on the other hand, it's the easiest, playing it and then either getting out right away or maybe even getting Quagmire is, to me, my vision for how I get from here to winning the game is a lot easier to envision if I don't play Voice of America. And also, likewise, if I didn't want to play Alliance for Progress. So being guaranteed to get them out of my hand is kind of what I'm going on, and that's how I'm justified doing a self-inflicted bear trap. So here we go. It's bear trap in Cameroon. We should definitely get in. We're in, even though we rolled a 2. And here comes the opponent event. All right, and what's he got for our last little thing? It's a dot. Okay, we saw that coming. But see, he only gets 1. Now, of course, now we're in the bear trap, but at least he has to work a little harder. We'll see how that goes. All right, and we go to turn 7, final turn of the mid-war, and a turn where we're going to need to count some cards. All right, so all the cards you see there are the cards he knows we have. He knows we've got Africa. He knows we got Salt and Liberation Theology. Oh, it's good to see you. He knows we got the Nukes. He knows we got the Voice of America. Now, let's see our little reach around from the reshuffle. Oh, we got the Brush War and we got Middle East scoring. Interesting stuff, and we will bury you. So that is our hand. All right, and his cards, we know he's got a few doozies over there. He's got the Junta. He got the Junta on us. He got Duck and Cover. He got our man in Tehran. He got the Arms Race. He got Allende. And he's got one other thing. I think it might be Kitchen Debate. I lost the piece of paper I wrote this down on. So anyway, that's going to be my guess for now, is he's got some other not super important thing. So with that in mind, here is your homework, your turn 7, heading into the end of the mid-war and the beginning of the late war homework. So heading into turn 7, What is your plan? What would you like to do with these cards? What is your plan for our scoring cards? What would you headline? And how would you go about it? I might have mentioned what I will probably headline earlier in the planning phase. But tell me also, since the headline might be a little bit easy to predict, tell me also of any other plans you have for this turn. Where's that brushwork going? What is Salt Negotiations going to do? If anything, it is, after all, the reshuffle. And any other things that you think of to tell me. And other than that, we will see you next time on Twilight Struggle. Play the Experts.